YouTube, my name is Mike. I go by DJ Access. Welcome back to the channel where we aim to build a better DJ community together. Today I'm here at the Dayton Steam Plant, but luckily I'm not alone. It was a little bit of a road trip, but luckily I have my boy, Justin Dickson. He's gonna be adding some saxiness to the party. Let's check out what we do. As always, if you find something helpful or interesting, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment with any questions you have about the video. And if you see any products that I use, there is an Amazon link, and that is a free way for you to support the channel. Now let's see how we did with some sax and some DJing in Dayton, Ohio tonight. All right, it's good to be back at the Dayton Steam Plant. I'm usually here once or twice a year, about an hour and a half away from Columbus. And like I said, I had my road trip buddy with me, so we made it for a very, very quick trip. Today we are doing a room flip. So as you saw earlier, this is what the ceremony main space looks like. And in front of those curtains and in front of these curtains are tables. So as guests get sent out to cocktail hour, we will set up. So that's the only tricky thing about today, is making sure we can get everything set up, get Justin hooked in, all in under an hour while all these moving parts and pieces are happening around us. So it's going to be about being flexible, also about being direct and letting people what I need, but then also making sure that people can do their job. So a little bit of teamwork and we should be fine. And those of you who are OGs to the channel should remember Justin from some of our events at Vitria or at Reverie. This is our first time together in Dayton, but shouldn't be any different. Jack and Alexa are a couple tonight, and they didn't have a ton of direction. Usually a couple have a list of songs that they really want sax to. They really just want us to do our thing. Justin's gonna play 60 minutes at cocktail hour and kind of assist me throughout the day. And then he's gonna do like the first 30 minutes of dancing, and then he'll jump in kind of randomly throughout dance sets, because he's gonna be my assistant and he's driving back with me, so he's here anyway. So why not play some sax, give the people what they want. So that's pretty much how today is going to go. I don't know if there's gonna be anything teaching wise or interesting up until we do the room flip, but I'll probably do like a time lapse of that if I can. Yeah, talk to you guys later. All right, Justin's gonna tell us, what do you have planned for cocktail hour? How are you gonna make this happen?
Yeah, so I'm just going to an iPad Pro. We're just gonna hook that up to a battery-powered Bluetooth speaker, and I've got some play-along tracks and some charts on there. So just gonna knock out like 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, and for cocktail hour, you decided not to use the microphone, right?
Correct. Yeah, usually it carries enough outside, and you know, people are talking, so I don't like to be too loud, but
when we get in here, could you describe kind of how you're planning to do that with getting out in the crowd and stuff?
yeah, so I have a wireless mic that I strap to the side of my horn, and Mike can just feed me a mix, I think from in-ears, and I'm able to hear everything track-wise, and I can get out on the dance floor. It's all battery-powered, so yeah.
All right, so on the way over here, we were talking about some do's and don'ts for DJs working with musicians, and the first thing we thought of was make sure that you're not changing the keys of the song. I know some DJs like to do like key lock or key match when they're mixing. This is not the time to do that. Justin, can you explain why that's not a good idea?
Yeah, I would say a lot of times we learn the song off the record, so the record key, and I think people are used to kind of singing along in that key, that kind of thing. So especially transitioning between songs, it makes it a little bit easier when I'm doing my own homework before we get together. So
right, so for those first few seconds, you're actually playing incorrect notes until you actually hear that they're incorrect notes. Then you got to find the key that they switched it to, and then refine the fingerings. And for a sax player, it's not just like, oh, the fingerings stay the same. They're different for every key that you would switch to, right?
Yeah, for the most part. There's, you know, some are the same, but it can definitely take a little bit, especially when you're dealing with something that's already remixed to begin with most of the time. So yeah.
Sure. So yeah, that auto mix, that auto key lock feature, I forget what it's actually called, maybe key shift, or when you're syncing the keys. I wouldn't recommend that all the time unless you are the kind of DJ, you know all the rules, so you are the kind of person who can break the rules because you know them. So if you're a beginner DJ, even an intermediate DJ, I would leave the key sync off until you really start to learn to use it creatively, not just when you're working with a musician, but just in general. Like Justin said, if I'm singing along to Sabrina Carpenter, that's my favorite song, it's gonna sound a little bit weird to me if it's pitched up, pitched down, key synced with all that. So be careful with that tool, DJs. Okay, we did that pretty quickly. Guest seated is at 6:50. It's 6:22 right now, so we got about a half hour to change, go check on Justin, and get ready for the rest of the party. So this is a massive space, and I only have 16 uplights. So what I basically did is I did this back wall. Here's the sweetheart table. So I did the back wall, so all the photos of them have nice uplighting, and then I left all this alone, and then I did the back. So we still have kind of like a front to back uplighting once it gets incorporated with the light show. But you know, about as much as I could do with 16 uplights. I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, next I'm gonna put their photo on the screen. It should take me about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna change. I already did my voice warm-up. I knew it was gonna be tight, so I did my voice warm-up ahead of time. So maybe I'll do like a secondary one, but should be good to go very soon. So I didn't really get a great photo of them walking back up the aisle. My first priority is to make sure I'm staying out of the photographer and videographer's way. So that gave me kind of a weird angle. And then by the time I got to a good spot, they were kind of already coming up. So some of them were blurry. I'm gonna do my best, but in the case that I don't get a great photo, what I can do is just put their name in text with like a cool Canva background, but I think I might be able to make one work. I'll show you guys what I'm kind of doing here. I'll reset it so you can see how dark that is. And you know, this is like the last photo that I took, so I'm gonna have to really crop in, bring the exposure up. I'll try and do this with the camera out. So I'm gonna put the exposure about there, bring down the highlights. See the windows in the back? We're gonna bring down the highlights so those aren't blown out as much. Shadows, we'll bring those up so we get a little more detail in the face. Already liking how this is looking. Pull the whites up, blacks will give you contrast. And then here's the key. We gotta get a nice crop and still leave name for their name. So we'll do like right about that. And it's not terrible, it's not my best, but it's not terrible. And we'll go black and white because that can fix a lot of things. And then bring that up, bump up the exposure a little bit more. Then I'm just looking at the faces just to make sure that they look good. There, okay, that's good enough. That's all we got time for today. I'm gonna put some text on it and then put it on the screen. Okay, so normally Justin, my sax player, would already be set up, but he was out performing at cocktail hour. He just came back. We just did grand entrance, first dance, a few speeches, and we're ready to rock and roll, but we have to set up during dinner. So right here I have my in-ear monitor pack that's gonna go into Justin, and he's going to send me his wireless microphone system to my setup. I have the Allen & Heath CQ12 right here. So that's gonna be the brains. I'm just gonna keep the camera recording. You guys can kind of see how we do this. And I think we're gonna start with, let's get your sax done first, and then we'll do the IEM. So here we go. All right, so here I have the XLR. We're gonna go into my input. So I have his channel muted right now, but I should be able to see the gain when he comes in. All right, go ahead and start giving me something, please.
It should be unmuted now.
Yep, I'm definitely getting something. Okay. Oh, so you're tapping it. Okay, I'm like, wait a minute, okay. Can you play a little bit? Just give me a nod if you want more volume from the main system. And then we'll get your in-ears right, because the in-ears are a little bit easier. No, let me, yeah, nod for volume. Okay, so we just completed part one. Make sure that Justin's stuff was coming out of the mains. It was absolutely perfect. So got the levels dialed in, and now we're gonna get his in-ears all set up. And the reason you want in-ears is that if he's roaming around, he doesn't have to worry about where it sounds best. Is he playing right on? It's going straight into the ears, and he should be able to get a really good performance. And what's nice about the Allen Heath CQ12 is I can select exactly what goes into his ears. So maybe a little bit of his saxophone, maybe my main channel, and then I can change the levels on that as well. is the end of the party. Hopefully you enjoyed all the party, the B-roll, the tips and the tricks, the saxophone. Hopefully got to play some clips without getting busted for copyright. And again, if you found something helpful and interesting, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment with any questions or things you want to see in the future, stuff you want me to show you, things you want me to review, let me know. The more we build this community together, the better it gets. And of course, if you saw something, you're like, oh man, what's he using? Chances are there's an Amazon link in the description, and that is a free way for you to support the channel. I'm not gonna lie, I was not struggling, but I wasn't feeling the energy from the crowd. I wasn't sure if I had the IEMs and they were kind of blocking out all the energy, but it was like clockwork. Every time I'd be like kind of anxious about, oh man, it's not the party that I thought it'd be. Alexa or Jack would come over and they give me the thumbs up or a high five, like, oh man, you're killing it. So even though I didn't feel like it was my best today, I'm glad that ultimately Jack and Alexa were happy. And you know, maybe I'll listen back to the tape, and this is why it's so important to record your stuff. I'll listen back to the tape and see what I did. But there was a long time within the party where, unless Justin was out, and Justin carried the crowd tonight, anytime he came in, the energy would go up, and I felt like there was like a lull, and maybe that's what I was feeling. Like, people were really excited about the sax player, so when that wasn't happening, there was just a little bit lower of the energy, and that's what I was feeling. So no excuses. I'm still happy that I was able to make a great party for the client, but yeah, you know, I would say that this one was challenging, definitely a challenging wedding, but that's why we do this. Peace. Practice.